Dennis Young here, host of Primitive Substance, and I got a very special guest, Richard Sinclair, bassist, Hatfield the North, Caravan, Wilde Flowers, solo. Thank you, Richard, for doing this.
That's
So
very kind of you, Dennis.
we could start with the solo music that you do, like that you play. We could start with that. You started talking about that before we started recording. So
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, we can just. I'll just give you a bit of history. I think most of
sure.
the people know if they're going to listen to your program, they're going to know about the Canterbury scene and the rock deal, maybe more than my thing to do with it. And I play with many bands and many very famous people. In fact, far more famous than me. But of course, it doesn't go on the media system because you're usually rehearsing or you're
Right.
doing something outside of the media system. We call it off radar.
There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
Well, when we think of progressive music, we think of you, Hatfield and North, Caravan, uh, those bands, like, and especially this record here, which
That
one of your
I'm
favorite, one
looking
of my
at. What am I looking
favorites.
at? Hatfield in the North. Okay.
Yes, one of my favorites.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
uh,
I've formed many bands. I've actually formed them. Okay, like
oh,
the
okay,
Canterbury scene started working with Hugh and Brian Hopper, and it wasn't the Wildflower. It got known as the Wildflowers,
right,
and from the Wildflowers, you had Soft Machine first, and then Caravan came from the Wildflowers.
right. I
And
know
that was
that.
all in Canterbury. From
How?
Canterbury, and so everybody I played with then tends to get linked to the Canterbury scene. That's everybody, Hatfield the North really is a
Right.
London. Well, no, they're outside of London, in North London. That was Pip and Phil. You have to look at the Canterbury scene, the whole thing. A very good thing to look at is Peter Frame's, um, family tree, especially
Okay.
of the Canterbury scene. Okay, and there it all is. It spreads out to Gong, to there's Steve
Right.
Pillage, all the people that you know about. If you want to talk about the solo thing,
Sure, we'll do that
okay,
first.
Caravan, the most iconic um, album, of course, is Land of Grey and Pink. And because
Right. I know
I
that
was
one.
then writing songs for Caravan, and so there were three of my songs on the Land of Grey and Pink, which were obviously the title track, Land of Grey and Pink, Winter Wine, and Golf Girl, which is the biggest selling. My partner to be in life.
Oh, okay.
It's sold every day. I think it was the third most continuous selling in the shop album in 19. Oh, I think it was the turn of the century. 2000. It was the third one after, I don't know, the Pink Floyd one, which
Dark Side of the
was
Moon.
Dark Side of the Moon, and
Right.
something else. I think it was the Moody Blues or something. It didn't
That,
sell the most, but it must have sold a couple of million by now, which of course none of us ever got any royalties for because we
oh
signed them
boy.
all away.
Oh man.
Well,
Gee.
that's the only way you could be in the early
Yeah.
days was to be. That's that. Now, of course, you can have if you've got a patron thing, all the young people now, if they're making music that people want to listen to, they can make their own company rather than give it to a record company. Right? So I
That's
have tapes going back as far as to Wildflowers.
okay.
And it's worth taking a look because the whole of my musical history would go on absolutely everything that I've ever played in
Mm.
on the things I got rehearsal tapes and all the articles, newspaper articles, and us arguing about the music and discussions about it with all the bands. Okay, and
Yeah.
I'm slowly getting that up because really I want to improve my entertainment and things and to get the music right so it's entertaining.
Right.
Um, I'm not a music reader. Obviously, I can read a little bit of music, but I'm not a sight reader. And so everything I do is by ear. And so everything I learn is by ear.
Oh,
And so, luckily I played with some very high class
yes.
musicians and musicians that write. But I always say, look, just play me what you want in the air, give an idea. And then I make my own bass parts up
Well, I tell you,
unless they want notes that's a written line. Okay. Then I only do it by ear. And then they send me the music, and if I can sing it, I can play it. And so I learn it by, like all musicians, they're singing what they play inside themselves. A
right.
lot of the musicians don't like to sing. And you'll find all these great musicians, nearly all of them, unless they are singers as well,
Right.
don't want to sing it to you.
Well, you're blessed
So,
with you are blessed with a great voice. It really comes through
well, that's
on
very
that.
kind of you too. That's from my dad. Okay.
Oh,
Everybody asks me, well, where does it all come from? My father was a #1 singer in Canterbury.
oh,
Always,
I didn't
from
know that.
he had a band, and then it's a line of Richards. In fact, it's a line of Dicks. So I decided I didn't want to be in the line of Dicks. Okay, so I changed my name to Rick in London. So it was Richard the First. He was 1850 in Canterbury. He had if you look on YouTube, you will
Yeah.
find Richard Sinclair and Sons photographers. And he was one of the first people in the world to be able to take a picture of you and blow it up 2 foot square. And so the whole of my history, which dates back to then, because he was a painter of military paintings. And I've got all these photographs that also on my Bandcamp, but it is because it's what the Canterbury scene is all about, isn't it? It's photographs and recordings.
Right.
And so luckily, I've got a mountain of the whole of my life, the whole of my. You will find it on Bandcamp. You will find it all on Bandcamp. You can listen to it.
I have never seen.
I know what you're going to say. You've never seen that. I mean, I'm lucky.
You're right.
I have a friend.
I was going to say that
in Seattle called Robert Kelborg, and organised this festival for the whole of the Canterbury scene. They came to me first. Jerry Kirk organised it all. He's a drummer in a band called Glass. And then the two brothers are Jeffrey and Greg Sherman. Okay. So I would have met Robert Kelborg then, because I go around the world and play with a lot of bands, which no one hears about. Okay. Right. So now that's all up on Bandcamp.
You must have recorded all the. Did you record all these shows?
Well, other people did, and of course, everybody gave me the recordings, including when we worked in the BBC, because I'd got ears for all the music and see how wonderful the best engineers in the world for me were the BBC. It's like amazing recording.
Oh,
like the John Peel shows. I've got all those, and when you go solo, there's a lot of people in the audiences are videoing, and so but that's all going up. Waltz, everything, noise, talking, you name it. If you're too quiet, the audience talk. No problem, Don't worry about it. Have a listen. And it's a very interesting story. And in fact, there's only, I think there's about 750 possible albums on there. But I have to edit it all. It's a bit. I mean, I have to sort of trim it. So it's a little less information. So,
that is a lot. I mean,
I can remember by just listening once to a tape recording, because that's what I did after the concerts. I'd have this thing, so I'd listen through. I can remember all the mistakes and things from every concert, because as you're playing it, it's a performance to the audience. So what I tried to do was perfect that, only that. So it wasn't about earning more money. Now I have a Bandcamp. It's possible, if you want to support everything I do. Once I've got 1,000 people have joined my Richard Sinclair Song Club for $50 or €50, what it is, I've got $50,000, which I've never had in my life. But it means tomorrow morning I can get on a plane and come and play you a garden concert at my own expense.
Wow. You know what? I got to tell you, what I loved about Hatfield is you'd have this beautiful soft singing and playing, and all of a sudden it would go into like something really wild, and Dave Stewart playing. I mean, that's what I really loved about that.
With David. Well, they could all play great, couldn't they? They're all great players. All great. And they were total artists and on the case all the time. And that's what we did in those days. Even before Dave Stewart was in it, was my cousin Dave Sinclair. Before then, it formed from me leaving Caravan. I'd already got Phil Miller, Steve Miller, who was, and it was then going to be Steve Miller's Delivery, and of course the two brothers didn't get on, and so I'm always trying to bring people together. I've just in 2006 I managed to reform the original Hatfield with other players that I've been playing with my band from my
Oh,
bands.
okay.
Okay, I mean, I used to. I mean, when I've been, well, it's not on the media deal and all the rest of it, but I had Andy Ward in my band
Oh, he's a great drummer.
and a saxophone player. I've just been on the phone to him actually. Steve, Theo's been touring America for Moon in June Records, which is Leo Barrett, and he's doing a good job. I think they've just come back after doing about 30 concerts, and then he's coming to England. So Soft Machine is still going on, as a jazz combination from musicians, after Robert and Mike Ratledge and
Right,
all
right.
that goes well back.
That
Frogging on, they call it.
now how was it like playing in Camel? Did you enjoy being in Camel? Because that's another great band.
I enjoyed it every that was the most like what would I say organized band, totally for the media deal, right? I mean, Andy Latimer and Pete Bardens, I was asked to be in the band, I think mainly because of Andy Ward. And I mean, Doug Ferguson was in the band then,
Right.
and I think he made a better job than I did, really, because he was on the case for Latimer, Andy Latimer's deal, because he likes to control and sort everything to make the music work. I mean, he's more of a blues player than he's a jazz player.
Oh, okay.
And I had a great time. I mean, for me, it was a bit. I couldn't really express totally what I was because it was our way in the end. Because Pete Bardens and I moved in. I mean, Pete Bardens' credibility to Camel was second to none because really he wrote that sort of lighter weight deal of the classical side of it. His I mean, he was the only pop star I knew, real rock star, right? Because he was friends with Fleetwood Mac. They're all really like top stars and all that. And so he was a bit like that, and he moved in in the end, he and Andy didn't get on. And it's such a shame
Okay. That's
because it
too
was such a
bad.
good band for me to sing in. One, I could be the singer and the bass player that could be inventive to a certain point.
Okay.
I mean, after Hatfield the North, who changed their set of music every night, then Camel had the same announcement, had the same solo for the fans, because that's what they want to hear. For me,
Exactly.
I like to be expressive in the music, and so I had a great time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was the most professional entertainment that I've been involved in, as far as not the most interesting music for me, but the most professionally delivered. I mean, we were like racehorses.
Oh, I'm sure you were.
Endless rehearsals.
Wow.
And then studio, and then going out on the road. That was the only thing for me. It was the same every night. It's lovely for the audience.
That's not good.
3 encores,
Yeah.
and all that sort of stuff. 1,000 people a night, traveling around in a Volvo coat, with all the rider on board, because we couldn't drink all the booze and all. It's good fun.
Yeah. Now you had Caravan reformed again, didn't it, in 1984? Was that?
Well, several times I went back.
Okay.
I mean, I left in 1971, moved to London, formed by Hatfield the North, move on with my musical studies and things like that, which was really 24 hours a day. I mean, I moved because we weren't playing music 24 hours a day.
Right. And then
to improve myself as a musician, if you like, and all the rest of it. And so, and then that reformed several times. I always went back and played music with Pye and Richard Coughlin, because also my cousin wasn't always in it either. And the first time we reformed, not to make Caravan, but to see if we could make music for Arista. And all that music's up now. It's come out on one of Pye's, I think, called Water or something. But Dave Sinclair got a call from Central TV, who made a series of programs, I think 26 programs in all, of all the bands that didn't quite make the top. And so I was on it twice. And the first time was with Caravan. And Dave Sinclair and I reformed the original Caravan. Because Pye wasn't playing music, and then he'd come off the road. And so that would have been with Pye and Dave Sinclair, and we did a program called Bedrock series. And we were in the first 13 programs of that. I think there was Hawkwind and
I remember.
Gong and Camel and all the ones that hadn't quite got it. And so I got to play in it twice. Once with Caravan and once with Hatfield the North. Okay, and so they're on my back. If you want to look at Bandcamp, they're on there. All the programs, rehearsals.
Yeah. And what
I had to go to with the mixing because and so just check it all out and give them on the most amazing experience for me in any studio in the world I've ever been in. 64-track digital and visual, right?
Oh my gosh!
All I had to do was sit there while these two guys worked for that. And there's albums of that. There's the TV shows. You'll find. I mean, you can listen to all this for free on my Bandcamp account.
That's even better. I mean, it's really down. You've done such a service to everybody that they
that's how Caravan reformed then. And that's why I live in Italy now, because after we'd done that show of the original band playing some of the original music, which hadn't been together for how many years? I mean, since 1971 for me. And so this came out in 1990 and 91. And so there were DVDs made of that video. You can hear all those. A very nice show. We nearly got that loving feeling back together again from the original album, right? It works pretty good with numbers like Winter Wine and a few later ones like from Dave Sinclair's side. We played 9 Foot Underground. And of course, Jimmy Hastings, who's now, I thought he passed away, a couple of years ago, and so did Richard Coughlin. They're no longer on the planet with us, but there's a good recovery and reformation of Caravan, the original Caravan. Okay,
that's even better. Yeah.
And because of that, we got. I had a call from Italy, where Caravan had never been to Italy, and for the very reason that they want us to go and play in Perugia. To about 1,000 people. A program, a concert called Rock in Umbria, and so I met all these followers and friends of Caravan there. So
you have a big following.
I ended up moving there because it's such a lovely place.
Yeah, I imagine.
Italy's like beautiful for food and respect of each other and all that. It's another area now because I moved south Italy eventually because I've invited to go down there. After I'd just done a concert. See, after that Caravan concert, I formed my own band of dreams, sometimes with Dave Sinclair, with all my favourite musicians in it, from Hatfield the North and Camel. Well, I called it Richard Sinclair's Caravan of Dreams. Okay,
I like that. That's a great name
for that. I mean, it was great, and it was because a company wanted to have the recordings. When I started playing in Caravan again, then.
So, what are you currently gonna do? Going to plan a solo?
No, I'm trying to plan a solo. I mean, I have many bands as I go around the world. People know. I mean, the musicians know. All the great musicians know Hatfield music, and especially the Caravan music. And I'm usually, because I never went back. I never thought I'd be playing that music again. Of course, Waterloo Lily, I hadn't really listened to a lot. Once we played it, we went round Europe with the new keyboard player Steve Miller, and that's all up on my Bandcamp account if you want to see it. There's also, you can buy it from the Caravan box set.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there's 37. I think I'm on about this nearly complete sort of history of Caravan. I mean, I think the first part of the history in the coffee book, now you're going to get to hear it with all the photographs because I've got all those.
Oh, that's good.
I wanted to bring it out on my own, bio box set, and it's because it includes Camel, it includes Hatfield the North, it includes many other famous artists as well.
And now, most besides Bandcamp, is this on vinyl too?
You really need the masters to make good quality LPs.
Right.
Now, some of those I've got the masters of my music, Caravan of Dreams, and RSVP. But it's better, and also when you make new music, of course, it's perfect for the people that want vinyl. So they would really like to make my RSVP album and my Caravan of Dreams album as an LP, which I've got some of here, and it works okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it sounds okay. It's all good. I mean, they're both double albums.
Oh, they
because
are?
you
Okay.
get because they're taken from CDs that last 60 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, that's something.
You know. Yeah, no,
Because there's a lot of vinyl people
I'm
that
making it
like. There's
through
people
the
that like vinyl
company
out there,
Burning
right?
Shed, you know.
So, and then
There's a
RSV,
lot of people. A lot. It's quite a big. I mean, it's not the huge market like the main market, which is all for the younger generation. You know, so because of that sort of progressiveness, if you want to call it that, and things, we're always not in the main media system.
no,
I mean, that's
not
the
gonna
whole of
be.
Canterbury scene, even though it sounds like we are. I think my music got used quite a lot, especially here in Italy. They play it on my birthday.
Oh, they
Golf
do.
Girl, and all the workers I know here say, "Hey, your music was on." Oh, I said, "Yes, it's my birthday today." They always do that.
Now
It's so funny to have to keep playing it. Yeah.
Italians always loved the progressive music, though. I think from the start. I mean, they were into
Yeah,
Genesis
I mean, they had a
before
few. I mean, the
they
main
got
market was
popular.
always the pop market, but you know, I'm always asked to take part and all that. I mean, I think the best one for me was Aria.
Oh yeah, I remember them.
Beatles,
Right.
you know, Stratos. I mean, he's an amazing singer, amazing, very Mediterranean. You know,
Oh yeah. Did you know PFM? They were great.
I
PFM.
do. I had to do a
They are
concert
great.
for the management that did that. One of the better progressive music bands here, you know.
Yeah. I remember Chocolate
But they have a
Kids. That was a great
market.
record.
They have all the Italian bands have a market here in Italy, but they don't tend to sort of go out. You know, I mean, I think PFM tried to go to New York because of Moon in June Records. It covers all the Italian. I mean, the musicians, the jazz side of
Right. They were on
music, you know, with Moon in June Records.
I remember they were on Manicore, the Emerson Lake and Palmer label at first, because I have some of their earlier records.
Yeah.
They were really good. I don't know now, I haven't followed them recently, but the 70s era, they were great.
I think the market is swamped now by this latest, it always is, by the younger generation's music, which tends to be a little less sort of inventive. It tends to be fashion.
Yeah,
it tends to be a bit noisy, you know, like we all were and still are, in fact.
That's true. Not going to match
always playing music too loudly, you know.
That's true. It's not going to match the stuff you guys did. I'm sorry. You guys were really
well. There's a lot of great things that you won't hear now,
That's
and
true.
it's all around the planet.
Well, if you're into
there's more of us now on the planet, and that's in all the generations. Of course, the older generation are leaving the planet, aren't they? And all those great musicians and all that sort of stuff. I mean, you know, you have to keep yourself well. You know, that's I think you are what you eat. You know, and especially what you drink. You know.
Oh yeah.
So take care.
So we're running out of time here on Zoom, but if you want to do this again sometime, it would be great. It was so nice of you to come on here.
Anytime is good for you. Now you can do it. Now we know how to do it. I just press the button.
I'm
useless with all this stuff. No problem.
Okay. That would be
great. We can do a whole music program. I'll get a guitar and
that would be
talk
great
about everything. It was quite a nice story, mine. You know,
it's a great story.
This thing with I've just come back from the Rock Bottom album and all the rest of it, and the thing is, it's rather nice, really, because I had a really lovely time.
That's great. Yeah, that's a really well done record.
You know, animated.
Yeah,
and of course, it's lovely. It's lovely music, and they've used a lot more of Robert's music as well. It's really about Robert when he fell off a drain pipe outside a window when he was too drunk, you know, leaving a party.
Yeah,
and of course he's been in the wheelchair since then, and so
that's something.
Really, his main thing is the vocal side of it. Even now, he's not able to travel really because it's, if you sit
Yeah, it's hard, I'm sure, but
in the wheelchair, it's going to deteriorate in certain parts of the deal, right? And so he has to take it easy now. And so he
yeah,
wasn't at this film festival, but a lot of all the friends and followers of music will be. There's going to be quite a few film festivals and viewings of this thing before it becomes a DVD. And I think the main premiere thing of it will be in December, and we're not sure where it is yet. They're trying to
okay.
get Nick Mason
Oh,
to
okay.
take part,
That'd be
but
better
whether
yet.
he'd have time to do it, I've no idea. But
So what's the name of it again? So you could
you know,
everybody knows
um,
what's the name of this film again?
well, the
Uh,
film is called Rock Bottom,
right. Oh, it's called that.
just
Okay,
Rock Bottom, and
got
it's
it.
only it's a sort of a dream state imaginary thing about Robert, where the characters, in it
Hmm.
are drawn, and
Oh, that's
it's
neat.
very nice actually. It's very interesting. It's not like the Canterbury
Right. Let's see.
scene in a Spanish language. Okay, I mean Robert was there, I think, quite a few years back when they did the first documentary in Catania,
Hmm.
about Robert. He's always been loved in Europe.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I mean,
still
for the very
is.
reason that his songs are very interesting, they're very
They
personal,
are.
and
They've
there's
always
many
have
of
been.
them. Okay, and so in this movie, there's a lot of his music that's actually played by other people,
Oh,
but the
okay.
main Rock Bottom album is a backdrop for the events.
Hmm.
As what happened then, he was suddenly in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
Oh.
unconscious, I think, for quite a few days.
Oh boy.
And so a lot of the actual vibe and the timing, I don't know whether you know the music, but it's to the deal of his breathing, and of
Yeah.
course it's very similar to the way of the waves go in and out. He's got tunes like Seaweed Tangle
Yeah.
and
Oh, boy. So we're running out of time here. We
the
have your
lyrics to be able to
we,
play the bass parts, it's like,
right. So we have your Bandcamp page. You can send me other links you want. But I
please
think
look at the
that
band. Tell everybody to join my
that's what I'm
club
gonna
because
do. Everybody's
please,
everybody
no
out there,
thanks.
go to Bandcamp. Richard Sinclair, a legend here with progressive music, and I
A
want to
legend, yeah.
and I want to thank you for doing
No,
this.
thank you, Dennis. It's
Okay,
nice to be able to share news, and especially to all the people that love and like all
they
that
do. They
Canterbury
love you.
music.
They love you and love your music. I'll tell you that. So
Yeah.
anyway, you have a good night there in Italy.
Thank you, Dennis, for
Take
kind
care.
words.
Talk to you
Happy
again.
days.
You
Let's
too.
talk anytime you want. Give us a
Okay.
ring.
Take care. Have a good night,
You
Richard.
too. Happy
See ya.
days
Bye bye.
always. Ciao,
Bye
ciao.
bye.